Greetings, everybody. Hope you're all doing well and you're staying calm in this season of uncertainty. Now, we're not going to say the big C word, but you all know what we're talking about now. You know what's on our tongue. Big up yourself, Empress Yuda. I enjoy listening to your videos. You're a wise woman. There is a lot of things I want to say in this video, and I hope I can keep my mind stable enough to translate this message so you can understand it. I just came from my regular grocery shopping, and while I was shopping, the only thing I was thinking about is what am I going to purchase that is necessary to build my immune system or to sustain it or to, balance. And it's something that I always do. You see, I always pay attention to what I put in. Not always, but most times I try to pay attention to what I put in order to maintain health. And some of us have compromised health already. So, anything can throw you off. So while I was doing my shopping, I went to the location very early because I suspect there would be a big crowd and I just didn't want to be a part of that. And when I went in, I go on the periphery. I shop where the fruits and the vegetables and the herbs and so on is. And when I went in, of course, I was the first person there. In no time, there was like 50 people lined up. We went in, and as soon as I got in, I went straight to get my bitter melon and garlic, vinegar. And if I remember more, I'll tell you. Yeah, like parsley leaves and a cucumber and my kale, which is what I usually get anyway. I wasn't getting anything different from what I would usually get. And when I was there collecting my items, a man came right next to me, made a big cough, and spit in the garbage that was right beneath the vegetables and the fruits. Number one. What I want to say about this big C, what it's going to do is open our eyes to a lot of things. And, in spite of the fact that people might think that this is man-made, the fact is, as human beings, we have to take more responsibility of our action. We have to be responsible for some of the things that happen to us in this earth or on this earth. So in a crisis like this, and whether we want to believe that there is ulterior ends to this, it is a crisis of some sort because people are panicking. And I would say rightfully so, because if you are not a person who already understood certain things on a deeper level, this would make anybody panic. I'm not panicking because I understand certain things on a spiritual level to say that whatever is to be, for example, must be. Whatever is designed by nature, there's nothing you can do to prevent it. So I'm not panicking when I think about that. But when you see, you become overwhelmed with all the images and the stories that are told, and they are frightening. So people who operate on the surface will panic. And in spite of all that, this individual spit in the garbage. Now, I watch some of the things that people are taking, emergency supplies that just take care of sustaining their life, which is very important, but they're not thinking about the most important thing, and people are not preaching. A lot of people are not preaching that. Is what are you going to use as your medicine should this thing arrive at your doorstep? So we're supposed to be using preventative measures, of course, but it is what it is. And if it is meant for you to catch this thing, how are you going to deal with it? And so for my household, as you have seen many times when I share my grocery haul, the things that I concentrate on getting in my home, letting my food be my medicine and my medicine be my food. And I can't afford to panic. I don't allow other person's impressions of whatever is going on in the world to cause me to panic. Because when we're panicking, that doesn't help anybody. It makes things worse. It make you get depressed. It make you get so, you know, frightened that you make mistakes that you're not supposed to make. Now, the observation that I'm having and what I'm noticing is that I think it's times like these that cause human beings to become very insensitive, to become very selfish, to do things that when you take a good look at it, you look at their action, it make you afraid of people. It make you not trust people. For example, you're in a store and everybody is in need of supplies because we don't know what's going to happen. We can't just say everything is going to be fine. It's not a joke. And when you hear people who are operating, in high positions tell you certain things, you must listen. You can't just say, let's just ignore them, not pay any attention to what they're saying. They know what they're talking about. They know what the goal is, what the intention is. They know what they're facing. They're the ones who are, talking to medical officers. They're the ones who are, at the moment in a position to make decision for all of us. So we have to listen. If they tell you don't come outside, you best believe it that it's best that you don't go outside. If they tell you this thing is serious and you're seeing supermarkets close or you're seeing schools close or all these, government agencies close, you must pay attention. Now, you got individuals in these shopping centers or in these malls or stores or whatever, all getting their supplies, but you get to see people, the truth of humanity, and seeing that people are selfish. So there's water out and you are the only person in the store. No, you're not. There are other people and you have your grocery cart filled with 6, 7 cases of water and someone doesn't have any. So you get to see how that human nature, kicks into gear and all of a sudden is dog eat dog world. People are ready to survive at your expense. People are, the strongest will survive. And the unfortunate thing about in the city that I live, a lot of these people are not taking this for survival. They're taking it to sell to make a profit. And there's no one regulating this in the environment to say, no, you can't have 6 cases of water and someone doesn't have any. So you see the selfishness, you get to see the greed. But let's go home. Let's go back to Jamaica. That's where I'm from. And you hear conversations with people. You hear arguments that make you take a look. And you say to yourself, aha, this is indeed an aha moment. Because you hear Jamaican people saying, if you're coming, don't come. Now I understand that they're saying, we don't want to spread this virus. We don't want to spread this thing and make things worse. But we're talking about your own Jamaican people, your family who usually when they're coming to visit, you're happy to have them because of what they're bringing for you. But now when they might be in crisis, wherever they're living, they might feel terrified to stay there because things are, moving very quickly and they're feeling threatened. And so they decide that they want to come home. Now, the ones who used to, send the money to Western Union, who used to buy you this or that, or send you a credit, or send you whatever it is you need for your own survival. In other times, all of a sudden you're saying, I don't want to see you, don't come here. So if there were crises in other parts of the world and there was an opportunity for Jamaicans to escape and to come home, the very people who they loved and supported are there saying, we don't want to see you. Send us the money. See, these are lessons that you shouldn't be angry at learning. You should take careful note and understand that, okay, so my life doesn't mean anything. My life is not valuable. You're seeing the true nature of people. Slow down and listen and hear them. And I'm also saying, I've always wondered how, something like what happened in Germany with the Jewish people, or what happened with African people for so many hundreds of years, is attitudes in moments like this. See, wherever this thing started and whoever started it and how it came to be, that is not my question or my concern in this video. My thing here is to say that if we're not careful, we will stand together, we'll band together as people and watch other persons get dragged, get abused, get, discriminated against. People who would usually seem like, kind and compassionate and, all about equity and diversity and social justice. This is a period where you get to see people's true colors and you see their inhumanity. Someone of a different race, who comes from a part that is infected with this thing, as is our fear now, are now discriminated against by people. Now, I'm going to say again, the gentleman in the supermarket spit in that garbage, and I'm sure that those behavior come back to haunt us. These individuals in different parts of the world who don't practice good hygiene, and that has nothing to do with race. That has to do with people in general. There are people in Jamaica that says, I'm going to have to wash my hands more now. And if it was something they already practice, it wouldn't be something for us to even think about. You already do that. I'm going to clean my environment or clean my space more often. And by the way, speaking of cleaning, I've not bought one Lysol. I'm allergic to bleach. I use none of these chemical products because when this is over, a lot of people are going to end up with the big C because some of these products are toxic. I have vinegar, apple cider vinegar and regular plain vinegar that I will use to wash my fruits, my vegetable, to clean my space. And let me tell you, when you use apple cider vinegar on your glass and your doors, and it's beautiful. I'm going to use lemons like I always do. Cut your lemon in two and put salt on that and rub it on your surfaces, rub it on your walls, in your bathroom, and you'll be surprised. Use the vinegar on your refrigerator, and you're going to have beautiful, clean furniture. And then you don't have to deal with the side effect of using some of these chemicals. So people are out there getting the cleaning supplies, and I'm thinking, what about your inside? What about your body that needs that protection, that extra protection, The kale and the cucumber and the turmeric and the ginger and the cayenne pepper and the things that you use like a shot every time you're going out now. You need to take these things like a shot. You blend them or juice them, and you get a shot just to build your immune system. They're already telling you what to do. I don't have to go. There are all these websites, the health organizations are telling you what to do to prevent, or to protect yourself against catching this thing. Fear and pandemonium is evident. People are acting a bit nutty. And I'm thinking, when you are fearful, when you're panicking, you make more mistakes. You don't just make yourself sick mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. This is really a time to stay very calm, very calm. But it's a time to show your humanity, to show compassion towards the other person, to not be selfish. Because the truth is, if you empty the supermarket and you bring it to your house, and the rest of persons in your community, in your neighborhood, find themselves faced with life and death, they're going to come for you. you're going to be a target because no one is going to starve or their children are going to starve. And you have all the good things them up in your house. Exploitation at every level is taking place right now. Someone buys these sanitizers for $1 and they go back and sell it for $10. That's what we're going to see here. We price gouging and selfishness to the max. You can't control other person's behavior, but you can control yours. And you guard against that selfishness and you guard against that mean-spiritedness. You know, all lives matter. All lives matter. And if you understand in the big scheme of things what certain actions or behavior or speech does, you'll be careful in how and what you take in. I don't have cable at home. And I use the internet, but I don't surf to find news. If I think something is valuable, I limit what I take in. And I ultimately stay calm. I'm staying calm. Because if you're not calm, you can't make rational decisions. You're not thinking. It's not just what man is doing. Man can't do anything unless the universe allows it. And certain things have to happen to take place in order for us to understand ourselves as people, as human beings. I feel this heaviness. And I feel a sense of rage as well that I have to control. Heaviness because I'm sad because I look what people choose to do when they can do differently. And I understand now why, as long as you're living on this earth as a human being, you're always going to face injustice, inequality, insecurity. If you look to man as opposed to nature, if you rely on people that don't have your best interest at heart, we must remember the forefathers. And we have to go back to those traditions. In Jamaica, it's disgraceful that you're worried that there might be food shortages when you have hundreds and thousands of acres of land where you can farm. And we have moved away from the traditions of our forefathers. Some of us. But there's still a lot, like the Rastaman in Jamaica who said, the food is the medicine and the medicine is the food. They're not panicking. They're up in the hills and they're doing their thing. They're not panicking. And they know that if I get a certain symptom, they know how to treat it. But they know and understand the bigger picture, the deeper message, deeper truth and understanding in what this means, what is happening in this period of time. And those of you who are seers or dreamers or who are able to see things and prophesy about it before it happens, bless up yourselves. There's a woman that came out not too long ago, an Empress Yuda. I'm not sure if you remember her, but she said some things. And I remember we had a conversation and I said, I believe her. Because what she said, I had cold bumps. I believed her. And now I can't find that video anymore. But she prophesied and she said, some of these things, some of us get dreams and we see the things. We can't panic. And it's showing up people who are religious as well. Because religious people are crying and freaking out. I'm like, why would you, if you're grounded in your faith? Where's this fear coming from? We know it's an equalizing force, but why you fear man? And you don't respect nature? and you don't respect deeply spiritual things or people. Stay calm. And if you didn't practice these things, start practicing it and don't wait to say, I won't do this anymore because the period has passed, and it will pass. Because the only time the world will come to an end, it will be the decision of man. Man can't decide that. Man can't bring this to end. Do you see the earth, how beautiful it is? Man doesn't have the power. They can try, and every time they try to do something that is unnatural, it backfires. What are you fearing for your life? He who loves his life shall surely lose it. We all will come out of this form and transform to another stage. Life goes on, it's continual. The physical being will decay, but we live on and on and on. So as you go out there and you're shopping, be sensible and make sure you're getting things that, is going to help to build your immune system, is going to help to sustain you. Living foods. I'm not saying I'm perfect in the way I eat all the time. You cheat. These are bad habits. But I always go right back to it. Food is a medicine, and the medicine is the food. It's a time to observe. Jamaica, I love you very much. And I'm sure it's going to get worse before it gets better. But Jamaican people, some of you are really showing a side of you that is very, very ugly. And your family members overseas who have been there for you. And I warn that there's going to come a time when folks want to come home and they're going to be at the airport trapped and they can't. This is just the beginning. This is just the tip of the iceberg. You think this is anything? This is nothing. But we watch your weak heart. You're weak-hearted because you spent no time building, your inner peace. So anybody can tell you anything and you panic. The sadness I feel is to say that times like these should bring us together. But it usually doesn't, does it? It's tearing us apart as human beings. And you're making a handful who are going to be safe. Well, in times like these, to cause you to turn against the one in the street with you. Someone is sneezing. And yes, we have to be cautious, yes, but you're going to attack the person who's sneezing, or someone is coughing and you're going to attack the person who's coughing. They're still human beings. And if they're out there, I'm not saying there aren't people who are unkind and they aren't individuals who deliberately try to harm other folks. There's that to contend with too. But at the end of the day, we still have to be kind and compassionate, to be thoughtful, to be sensitive. And let me tell you, some of these people are greedy and selfish, that even in what they consider to be a crisis, they're thinking, let's capitalize. But you can't change other people, you change yourself. So in the meantime, in between time, stay blessed.